Considering today's previews, core set 2020 might be the most powerful core set we've ever had. You better be sitting down because wow, we've got some craziness today. If you've missed previous videos covering all of core 2020 up to this point, you can click the first link in the description. I do hope you enjoyed this preview video and this preview series. If you do, consider hitting that like button or subscribing for more. Helps out a lot. Let's do this. Agent of Treachery is 5 of anything and 2 blue for a 2/3 human rogue. When it enters the battlefield, gain control of target permanent. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 3 or more permanents you don't own, draw 3 cards. What? I love this so much. Agent of Treachery is crazy expensive, but this card is just meant for Eminato and Commander, right? Or I guess any bling commander. Holy butts, this is hysterical. Pair this with Deadeye Navigator, blink it a couple of times, boom, you control a bunch of permanents, not non-land permanents, any permanents. Then when you get 3, you get a free Ancestral Recall? What? The design of this card is truly absurd in every imaginable way, and I am so happy that it exists. What a way to start the video. Agent of Treachery, you crazy, so good. Drawn from Dreams is 2 of anything and 2 blue for a sorcery. Look at the top 7 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Looks like this is going to be the closest we get to dig through time ever again, and I'm pretty okay with that. The card's decent, 4 mana and sorcery are both taxing, but 7 cards deep to get the 2 best, that's not bad. Lots of card filtering, and that's why it's a rare. If this has any chance of being decent in standard, it'll be next to Teferi Time Raveler, so you can cast at instant speed, but even then, I'm pretty okay with just using Chemist's Insight. Could be a place for this card, but 4 mana is a ton when it's only good at instant speed conditionally based on a planeswalker. It's too bad, the artwork is gorgeous. Bloodthirsty Aerialist is 1 of anything and 2 black for a 2/3 vampire rogue with flying. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on the Aerialist. Another solid life gain card for the inevitable white-black life gain deck, if only it was a knight. Anyways, it does come with evasion, but it doesn't gain life itself. That might end up being too much of a disadvantage, and it might not make the cut, but if there's room in the 3 mana slot for life gain synergistic cards, then I can see a few copies of this making it in. We'll have to see because the number of relevant life gain spells seems to be going up by the day. I'll put this on the short list for now. Beyond that, a fine filler limited card that gets much better when you have life gain spells in your limited deck. Cavalier of Night is 2 of anything and 3 black for a 4/5 elemental knight with lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy target creature an opponent controls. When Cavalier of Night dies, return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Ooh, I like this knight a lot. 5 mana for a 4/5 with lifelink is perfectly fine. The normal elemental knight, again, very good. When it enters the battlefield, you get to sacrifice your worst creature to kill their best. Or you get to sacrifice a creature you want to bring back later with the Cavalier's death trigger. Converted mana cost 3 or less covers a lot in standard right now across all colors, but that isn't where the Cavalier will dominate. Friggin' Commander, friends. Commander! Marin, Mazarek, Carador, Sekuar, Sidisi Brood Tyrant. Cavalier of Night, definitely more than the other elemental knights we've seen so far, has a predetermined place in Commander. It's right here among the sacrificial pantheon. Vampire of the Dire Moon is 1 black mana for a 1/1 vampire with Death Touch and lifelink. My first thought, annoying as heck to deal with in Limited. Many of you know how much I hate Death Touch as a mechanic in Limited, and this is a perfect example of why. For a single mana, this can lifelink until your opponent plays something, but worse than that, it's gonna either take a premium removal spell or a much bigger creature down with it. In a lot of ways, Death Touch is a power equalizer, and I expect this vampire to equalize a lot of power in Limited. Now, if you want to run this in Standard, I think there are issues. With all the cards we've seen so far, vampires look to be pretty stocked up. So does the white-black life gain deck that's definitely going to exist. While this vampire does fit into both of those themes really well, we have an embarrassment of riches type situation going on. I expect this is only going to see limited play despite the fact that it's a cool card. Fry is 2 mana for an instant. This spell can't be countered. Fry deals 5 damage to target creature, planeswalker that's white or blue. Well, alright, man. This reminds me of Combust, but way angrier. Coming into the standard meta the way it is right now, Fry is going to take down many of the most dangerous threats in the format. It can annihilate both Teferi Walkers, it demolishes Tristani, turns Lyra into dust, Aurelia gone, Bolas gets whacked. There are a million targets for this card in standard right now, which means that it should definitely get some serious sideboard play in standard until it rotates. Giving red these tools against control decks is dangerous, whether it's mono red or even Gruul. Fry will find its way into these sideboards because right now, it takes down basically every boogeyman in the format. On a completely separate note, that artwork is hilarious and helps me forget just how much this card is going to wreck me in the next few months. Elvish Reclaimer is 1 green mana for a 1/2 elf warrior that gets +2/+2 as long as there are 3 or more land cards in your graveyard. You can also pay 2 mana, tap it, and sacrifice a land to search your library for a land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. What? Are you serious, Wizards? 1 green mana for this? Elvish Reclaimer is just asking to sacrifice a land and grab Guy's Cradle and Commander. I mean, what is even happening in this set? These cards are so good. Elvish Reclaimer is a single mana with an absurd activated ability that grabs any land. You can go get your Wasteland or Maze of Ith, whatever you want, for the simple act of sacrificing a land, any land. Best part about this stupid thing, it's eternal playable. Crop rotation is a thing. Elvish Reclaimer can start attacking and blocking as a 3/4 for a single green mana after only a turn or 2 into the game. Legacy can definitely do that. Then the stupid thing tutors lands for you all game. I think Elvish Reclaimer is the best eternal card we've seen this set so far. The power level here is just, I don't even know, it's laughably insane. Oh my goodness, look at it. Look at its little ears and its little paws. Right, okay. Ferocious Pup is 3 mana for a 0/1 wolf. When it enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. There's only one thing I want to say about this card. If any of you, and I mean literally any of you, kill this little puppy in combat or with removal or sacrifice it, I will find you and I will end you. You'll be banned from the internet and probably arrested under suspicion of domestic terrorism. The puppet's a little 0/1. It can't even defend itself. Oh my. Okay, I'm actually starting to cry talking into the microphone. We need to move on. It's just, please don't kill the pup. Just please don't do it. Woodland Champion is 2 mana for a 2/2 elf scout. Whenever 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, put that many +1/+1 counters on Woodland Champion. Put that many counters? What? If we're talking standard, this has great synergy with Saproling Migration, March of the Multitudes, and Tristani. White-green tokens is a thing in standard, and I don't see a reason why this can't be a part of that, especially because it adds another over-the-top threat to the deck in case going wide doesn't work. This on turn 2, then Migration or History of Benalia on turn 3, and you're attacking it with something much bigger than anything your opponent has going on. In Commander, this card also shines bright. Risk decks, Rith decks, Tristani Selesnia's voice, there are tons of token decks running around. The real power in this card is being able to add a counter for each token. That's seriously bonkers for a 2 mana card. Moldavine Reclamation is 3 of anything, 1 black and 1 green for an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control dies, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Are you serious? This enchantment is nuts for Commander. Obviously too expensive to be good in standard, but who cares? It says whenever a creature you control dies, which means it counts tokens, it counts everything. So this can go straight into Marin, Gave, Prosh, Shattergame Brothers, basically any deck that has green and black in it that sacrifices creatures. Moldavine Reclamation isn't even a card those decks needed. They already have so much power, but this is just the cherry on top for them. Gaining a life and drawing a card for each creature you control that dies. Seriously, you're welcome, Commander. Sack decks, more absurdity for your already broken archetype. Ogre Siegebreaker is 2 of anything, 1 black and 1 red for a 4/3 Ogre Berserker. You can pay 4 mana and destroy a target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Oh wow, this is a great limited card that will make combat awful. Not having to tap is a big part of this, but just your opponent knowing that you have the ability to nuke something they block or attack with is a big deal. It's going to put a strain on their decision making, forcing them to basically agree to lose their best creature, most likely in exchange for your worst. That makes Ogre Siegebreaker a removal magnet, which is just fine. The Rakdos color combination is usually about going fast and sacrificing everything to win immediately, but Ogre Siegebreaker has long game potential, and he's going to do exactly what he's supposed to, break sieges. Solid limited uncommon, definitely a reward for going red-black. Omnath, Locus of the Roil, is 1 of anything, 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 red for a 3/3 legendary creature elemental. When Omnath enters the battlefield, it deals damage to any target equal to the number of elementals you control. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target elemental you control. If you control 8 or more lands, draw a card. I love this card. I love Omnath. I'm so happy he's back. This is like an evolution. First we had him as his pure green incarnation, then he absorbed red and became angry, and now he's absorbed blue mana, able to gain knowledge through card draw. I love everything about this card. This is meant to lead a Teamer Elemental Army and Commander. I know we have a premier 5-color Commander in Horde of Notions, but for those of you who want to focus a bit more, Omnath is going to be heckin' powerful. Run a mainly blue-red elemental deck with green for land and fixing, get those pseudo landfall triggers, make your elementals huge and draw cards. What a sweet card. Taking tribal, adding a twist like landfall, and giving it ways to draw more fuel. I'm beyond pumped about this. What an excellent Teamer Commander. The color combination really needed it. Big fan. The Scry lands are back, and here I thought the set couldn't get any more ridiculous. Scry lands are downright fantastic in Standard. They do enter the battlefield tapped no matter what, but do not underestimate Scry on a land. I said this when Theros block came out, and I'll say it again. Scry on a land is strong. This gives lands value in the late game all the while fixing you. But I think my favorite part about these lands coming back is that more Commander players can get them. A few of the temples are worth $4 or more, and while that isn't super high, tons of Commander decks include them. So for Core Set 2020 to bring back such beloved lands and help keep the prices low, I'm always on board for that. Also, for the millionth time, another throwback to Theros block, just like the Starfield Mystic. I'm feeling Theros coming back soon. I'm feeling it. Okay, listen, Core Set 2020 is the most powerful core set we've ever had, I can already tell you that. Look at these previews, and these are just today. The Reclaimer, Omnath, the Temples are back, Moldervine Reclamation, Fry, just you have to see it, right? For the average power level of cards we normally see in a core set, these are above and beyond, not even close. Like a different card game up in here. I need to know if you think the same way I do. I gotta hear what your thoughts are, so please leave them down below. Do you think this set is as ridiculous as I do? What are you still waiting for? Anything surprise you? The Reclaimer is still doing number on my brain. Anyways, leave your thoughts below and we'll talk about it. Be sure to stay tuned to the channel for the latest and most reliable Core Set 2020 information you could ever need. And as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. This video is brought to you by TCGplayer.com. Core Set 2020 is a banana factory of nonsense, and you can pre-order boxes right this second for only $95 each. Oh yeah, if you don't have a local game store or yours is charging way too much or you just want to help the channel out a lot, click the link on the screen. Boxes will be delivered right to your door on release. No worry, no fuss, nothing. Easy transaction, great service, you help me out, win-win, enjoy.